Again, you've had a chance to look at the questions and make some attempt to answer those. Now, some are routine, by the way. Like, for example, this over here, kind of a routine question, particularly if you've taken a class in algebra where they did some formal things about the product and sum of roots, by the way. I'm not going to say it's something you want to memorize, but it is an interesting fact, all right? It is an interesting fact. Now, certainly look at these problems over here. You have a chance to look at those things. Some are more difficult than others, by the way. Like, for example, number one, not easy, but I'll be honest with you, it's doable. Number two, certainly doable. Number three, doable. Number four, a little more complicated, all right? But the bottom line is, what makes it more complicated is the actual question, right? What's the question? Now I just use substitution to see if the confusion may ensue if one is unwilling to think. And by the way, I hate to admit it, I was also put into a situation where I had to think why it did work out that way, all right? But again, if you don't understand the question, it's understandable, by the way. What do? You look at the solution key, and hopefully it's going to make more sense to you, all right? Number five, I'm going to say a little more difficult, by the way. It's those sequence problems, and it's a little more difficult. But again, we worked through that as well, by the way, all right? So I'm going to say there's that blue area with the videos, pretty typical, right? So what my claim over here is that I want to get to the SAGE, because I'm wondering, like, how do machines handle these problems over here? And I sometimes use a machine. I'm not very good at it, by the way, but I want to encourage some students here are probably much better at using a machine than I am. And you want to share that with other people. Let them know that you're pretty good at this. So what I want to do is I want to go to SAGE again. Let's reset. Let me just scroll up so I can see what that is. I'm going to do a copy paste. And paste that in. I'm going to display S, by the way. And S looks like there's only one solution to the problem, by the way. And what does it say? Log 12 divided by log 12. I'm sorry, log 12 divided by the difference between log 12 and log 3. All right? And again, I kind of wonder why it says that. But anyway, I'm going to go over here. And what I want to do is I want to do this. And this reminds me of the prior section that we just did. And I'll talk through it. And what does it do? It's 8 raised to, well, S0, I want to claim to you what S0 is. This is S0. But what did I want? I don't want S0. I want the right-hand side of that, which is this thing over here. And let's see what it gives me. Now, it gives me something that I got this over here. I'm seeing what it gives me. It's the same thing it gives over here. I want to go back over the problem set, though, and I'm wondering which problem was this? There's only 5 problems to look at, by the way. I'm just looking through the problems. Looks like number 1, 12 to the x minus 1 over x equals 3. I solve for x, but they want to know what 8 to the x was. And what did I get? I get 24 root 3. All right, I'm looking at this thing over here, and certainly I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying they're claiming that's 24 root 3s. So what I want to do is I want to approximate this number, underscore, dot n, and I'm going to also approximate 24 times the square root of 3. Now you notice I use a decimal there. I am forcing SAGE to use an approximation now. And what I mean by that, if I put down square root of 3, SAGE would say square root of 3. But if I say SAGE square root of 3.0, they're thinking, oh, I want an approximate. What number do we get? Well, I want to look at it. I want to claim over here, it looks like we're getting the same number, but there is a little slight difference between that. You see that? A little slight difference. Now, by the way, I'm not an expert in SAGE. I wonder why there's round off error here, but these are actually equivalent numbers, and you could easily show that. Thank you.